Don't forget, of course, Cop30 has now it's officially opened. I think they had a few days before, but the official opening is underway as of yesterday. Belém in Brazil, and although the US president is absent, diplomats still seem to be fearing his interference. China preaches while burning coal. Brazil talks about ending oil while pumping it, and island states want more cash. What is actually the point? Does it achieve? What does COP achieve? Ed Gemmell is the leader of the Climate Party. Good afternoon to you, Ed. This is the 30th COP. They had to chop down a rainforest to make it happen. Leaders flew in. God knows how many air miles and tons of carbon got spewed into the atmosphere. What is the point of COP? Do we need it?
We definitely need it. Whether it needs changing, I think, is probably a very big question. I mean, look, why did it start in the first place? You know, go back 33 years when we had the first one. That was a result of signing the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And the whole point of that, going back that period of years, is that we had to stabilize the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and start to bring them down. So stop the amount of pollution that's going up there and make it better. What have we achieved over more than 30 years? The opposite. So we've had greenhouse gas concentrations now at their highest in the atmosphere ever. We're now polluting at a higher rate than we ever did before. We're up at over 53 gigatons per year. It has clearly failed. Now, having said that, if we hadn't had it at all, would there have been worse? Quite possibly. The Paris Agreement came in, focused minds on what to do, got countries now to put in nationally determined contributions, so promises about what they were going to do to try and put it right, but it doesn't have teeth. So it allows people, President Trump included, to withdraw, to ignore it to some extent, and to do what they want. And that isn't going to get us to the place we're needing to get to.
You mentioned, can I just ask you something, Ed? You mentioned about the sort of record levels of pollution. You're talking globally, because as I understand it, in this country, we've shaved a third of, or maybe more of, what we used to belch out into the atmosphere. We've done rather well, but of course this effort from the Climate Party and others is completely lost if big countries like China and America, India are not on the same boat, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when you look around the commercial opportunities, though, around the world, I mean, China is grabbing them. Look, they're installing more wind and solar than anybody else in the world. They're creating more batteries. They're creating more EVs. And at the same time, they are grabbing all those resources we all need for these coming decades, whether you're looking at getting to net zero or whether you're looking at deep tech and your AI opportunities as well. They are controlling the rare earth metals and minerals, the mining and the processing of them. And we have got to wrest that back. So there are issues here. And in fact, Keir Starmer, although he can't communicate these things properly, he did mention in his speech, but certainly in the introduction to it, about this being the biggest economic opportunity of the 21st century and how Britain should be going for it. It's not just the biggest economic opportunity of the 21st century, but the biggest ever. I mean, absolutely ever. And in terms of the UK and what we should be doing is we should be grabbing this opportunity, make it good for the UK. Look, if we go back over years since records began on our GDP and our economy, the biggest increase annually for GDP was just after COVID at just over 8.5%. This opportunity, if Britain was to get there and lead the entire thing, is to put £1 trillion onto our economy per year, growing it by 30%.
Doing what, Ed? You're talking about the green jobs, the green industries, that kind of thing. How would we? I mean, but surely, I mean, that area. I mean, there will obviously be some jobs that are replaced. So when you once worked on an oil rig, you might work on the equivalent developing solar for that wouldn't happen, but just for obvious like for like kind of job. But broadly speaking, I mean, the solar industry, the wind turbine industry, China have got that. We ain't going to be making any of that stuff in any meaningful way. That's all done and dusted somewhere else. We can't catch that up.
I don't believe that. I mean, I think we've got a problem today. Is the cheapest place to get it from is China. So if you want to install a solar farm tomorrow, you go to China for it because it's the cheapest. Having said that, we are by far ahead of many in terms of innovation and opportunity. Oxford and Cambridge, all the things that are coming out of that, and in financing, and we need to play to our strengths. And what we need to do is to set more ambitious targets than China, get ahead, innovate and invest our way there first, use those strengths, and we then will have the patents for the next generation of solar panels, the next generation of tidal power, We'll have the green bonds of the future. We'll be selling it all to everybody else rather than buying it from them. We are missing an opportunity. And this could really be putting £20 billion a week onto our economy. You know, that's a lot of money we could be having on our economy.
In what though, Ed? I keep hearing similar numbers kind of floated by Ed Miliband and people like that this is, you know, an amazing opportunity. What is it that's going to happen? Because we've already kind of changed the way we do business in terms of the kind of cars we drive, how buildings are constructed, the kind of things you're allowed to belch out of a chimney compared to what would have happened a few years ago, etc. You know, it's unrecognisable. Recycling, another obvious example. We do stuff that was unimaginable 10, 20 years ago. What's this next step then that's going to put 20 million, do you say a million a week?
20 billion.
20 billion a week into our economy. How?
Right. Starting where we are already, which is the renewables. And in some senses that's happening, but we have neglected tide, wave power and others, which Britain should be doing at the front of. Come away, though, just of energy. You come into transport, finance, agriculture. Every single sector of our economy, we should now be taking towards where we are going eventually in 25 years' time, which is the net zero economy. But what we're doing at the moment, right across the board, is we are spending money now for no direct profit-related advantage for UK PLC. So we need to get ahead, grab it, and lead this stuff in every sector, Ian. So not just the very obvious renewables one, but every single sector of life. And McKinsey brings out reports showing the 10 to 15 different industrial sectors where we should be leading.
And these sectors are, you say, mostly to do with energy?
No, I don't. Energy is just the start. So it's transport, agriculture, finance. It's how you're going to work, you know, be working your local government services. It's how you're going to be doing your high streets. It's how you're going to be doing cement and how you're going to be doing steel. And we should be at the front of it in two different ways. A, the number one producers and innovators, and we should be the ones who are creating all the patents and everyone else is licensing from us. If we were to accelerate what we're doing by 20 years and get there before anybody else, we then open up our corner shop with all of Britain's innovations and everybody else is going there and they buy from us.
But isn't there somebody in France right now or Germany or Spain having a similar conversation saying, no, we're going to be the world leaders on this one because many of those countries have stolen a march in many aspects of the green economy, if that's the right way to put it. So they'll also be vying for this space. The idea that we're going to become the sort of go-to, like, you know, the old empire days where, you know, Britain will be ruling the roost on the entire future of the planet. Ed, that's not going to happen, is it? I don't want to break bad news to you. I know you're the leader of a political party. That is not going to happen.
I'm not sure it's not going to happen. We've got to be ambitious and we need an industrial plan to get us there. And there is no other way of doing it. We've got a declining economy based on productivity. We've been declining now for nearly 20 years. And the Office of Budget Responsibility is painting a really dire picture with 3 to 6 times our national debt in the future. And it's very interesting that you mentioned something there, Ian, because we don't normally talk about it. But we are being contacted by people in Germany about what we've been saying in Britain about the opportunity for the British economy to say, in actual fact, we think Germany could be doing this rather than Britain. And we're starting to agitate that the German economy should go ahead and lead in this way. So others are waking up to this fact. But what we need to do is grab it, do it now, get ahead. Otherwise, you're quite right. Others will lead instead of us.
On that point, Ed, thank you. Ed Gemmell is the leader of the Climate Party. Others will lead instead of us. The most curious case on this one, I'm no expert, and so I don't speak with a qualification, but I think I've got this about right in terms of trying to keep on top of what is going on in this area, or this space, as you're, I think, meant to say. China are simultaneously the greatest polluters, but also have the greatest infrastructure around the green economy, including solar, including wind farms. And I'm not just talking about what they build domestically in their own country, but what they build for the rest of the world. So so they're wearing two hats on this one. I think their thinking is, yes, we do have a lot of coal and we're still burning that old stuff and chugging out all manner of toxins into the atmosphere. But in parallel, we're running this whole green thing, and eventually the coal stuff and the fossil fuels will run out and we'll have this great thriving green economy to take it over. I think that's their thinking. but they're exporting it as well. And the idea, look, if there's a £20 billion a week industries to be created around this, I'm in. Okay, if I was on Dragon's Den, I'm in. That would be great. I just can't see it happening.